question is, does enlightenment come before drugs or drugs come before enlightenment? Okay.
Drugs will not lead you to enlightenment.
Next question. How do you stay unaffected and be a bright light around negative ego-identified people?
You don't pay attention. Simple. You just don't. You can, whatever you pay your attention to, it will become part of your life. So, a long time ago, I decided that if I was going to do what I do, I have to be immune to criticism, but I have also to be immune to flattery. You just don't pay attention. And if you have a wife and children, they make sure that you can't take yourself seriously.
Who is your favorite form of the divine? Do you worship God in the traditional Hindu manner with pujas?
I don't. I'm embarrassed to say that I don't, except when I'm in India, and I was recently, like 2 weeks ago, and I went to a temple because I was very interested in the architecture of this temple. And the priest actually did a puja and a havan, and I was totally overwhelmed by the beauty of it. So I realized that I should actually do this, because rituals and pujas and traditional prayers have a very profound effect on your consciousness, because they're part of our archetypal imagination, and they're also part of our cultural history. But I haven't been the type of person who does those things. And when I do them, I enjoy them. My practice, personal practice, is I do 2 hours of meditation every morning from 4 to 6.
Have your interactions with your grandchildren changed your philosophy or worldview in any way?
I don't know if they've changed my philosophy or worldview, but it's been a lot of fun. I mean, I talk to them a lot, and I have immense interactions with them, and I find that they're absolutely, maybe it's just my grandchildren, but I think they're brilliant, absolutely. And or maybe it's all children. But there's nothing more profound than an interaction with a child if you want to learn about life.
What do you think about scientific discoveries being made in the field of anti-aging? If we realize we are pure energy, as you suggest, does that mean we will live longer than the 110 years the oldest humans are able to live to today? What are some strategies you would recommend to ward off aging?
Read the book, okay? But here's something very interesting, and that is that the fastest growing segment of the American population today, and in much of the world, if you cut out infant mortality and things like that, is over the age of 100. So people are living longer anyway. Secondly, there's a different biological expression of aging. So when you hear expressions like today's 80s, yesterday's 60, and today's 60s, yesterday's 40, happens to be true. There are many studies that show that in cultures where aging is thought to be a good thing, when in cultures, many Eastern cultures, and even in the Middle East and Afghanistan and many places, including Georgia and Russia, not Russia, but some of the former republics of Russia, the tradition is that as people grow older, they are venerated, they are honored, they are put on a pedestal, they are respected, they are given more responsibility. In fact, when you do aging studies on this population, it's very difficult to do it because people exaggerate their ages, because aging is glamorous. When society has that attitude towards aging, the whole biochemistry of aging changes. Because, part of our aging is the hypnosis of social conditioning. You think, 65, now I'm going to go to Florida and then play golf, then you're done. Okay, that we follow these cultural mindsets, or what they're called memes. One of the recent studies that I forgot to mention is that telomeres, you've heard of telomeres, this year's Nobel Prize was given to the biologists who worked on telomeres. Telomeres are like little buttons at the end of shoelaces, and they prevent DNA from fraying, just like your buttons at the end of your shoelaces prevent your shoelaces from fraying. As people grow older, their telomeres grow shorter, and it's said that at 120, telomeres will disappear, and that's your biological clock. But now recently studies have shown, and this is Dean Ornish again, with other scientists, that you can lengthen your telomeres through meditation, through exercise, through yoga. This is very absolutely amazing, because once again reinforces the idea that DNA is not fixed, that your genes are fluid structures in consciousness. More to come. In the future there'll be nanorobots, there'll be selective cloning, there'll be stem cells that will reprogram your aging process. So what the limit is, I don't know, can't tell. But I can tell you that if you can stay healthy for the next 10 years, wait for some miracles.
Okay, unfortunately, we've reached that point in our program where we just have time for one last question. So, and I think this is true from all of us. Deepak, what do you do for fun?
I'm having fun all the time. But I do ski, I do scuba dive, and these days I play golf. But these days, if I have any extra time, I spend it with my grandchildren.
I hope you have all enjoyed tonight's program brought to you by the Commonwealth Club Silicon Valley. Again, we would like to thank Deepak Chopra, author of Reinventing the Body, Resurrecting the Soul, How to Create a New You, our audience here in Santa Clara, and those of you joining us on the radio. And now this meeting is adjourned.